On this episode of Exactly How, we're going to show you how to make more money, live longer, and be a healthier person.
You're listening to the Exactly How podcast, where you'll hear the underground, closely guarded wealth-building secrets of successful people around the globe. Discover exactly how to improve your mental, physical, and financial health. Feel better, make more money, live, give, and prosper in today's exciting, fast-paced world filled with opportunity for those who know exactly how.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Connected Investors podcast, Exactly How. This episode is very different than anything we've ever done before, and here's why. We found that everyone's number one excuse for not doing something that will benefit you is always time. So we're going to solve that problem today and many more problems. During this episode, you're going to discover exactly how to gain an extra 60 hours a month that you can spend with your family or working on your business. And at the same time, get healthier, live longer, and to be quite honest, look better. For those of you who are new, my name is Ross Hamilton, today's host and CEO of ConnectedInvestors.com. Today, we have the privilege to learn from a guy who's an inspiration to everyone he comes in contact with. This guy was working at Starbucks, landed an internship here at Connected Investors, and within a very short period of time, worked his way up the ladder and is now the head of all of our products at Connected Investors. And he does so much more. I'll tell you this, if you can buy stock in people, I'd put all my money in this guy. He executes very well. And the one word that I would use to describe him is driven. His name is Jake Geller. He runs so much here at Connected Investors, and today he's going to explain exactly how to find more time, make more money, and live a healthier life through intermittent fasting. Jake, thanks for taking the time to speak with us.
Thanks, Ross. Thank you for having me on the show. You know, I'm so excited. We've been talking about this exact episode for quite some time, and I'm excited to finally be here and enlighten people on, how I live my life and the benefits that has brought me, right? So helping them through that and getting started with Talker today.
Well, we're going to have time to jump into that. Before we dive in, though, and show you how to change almost every aspect of your life, Jake, you contribute a lot of your success to being driven and also taking time to kind of like meditate and fast. Why do you believe these aspects of your personality have helped you accomplish so much in a short period of time?
Well, we covered two things right there. You and I talk about meditation and intermittent fasting, which is obviously the topic of today's episode. Both of those items, to me, aided me in different areas of my life. When it comes to intermittent fasting, we talk about being driven. And if you want to stay driven, there's certain sacrifices you need to make, right? And being driven at its core is all about making those sacrifices on a consistent basis. And in order to do that, it's all about self-control, right? Very much so how we have self-control in our lives. We get to control what we spend our time doing. I like to control what I put into my body and when I do that, right? And then when it comes to meditating, it's very similar. It's the self-control to do that on a consistent basis, reflect on the things I'm doing, the things I've done, and where those things have gotten me. And it really helps me pick and choose and prioritize my time so that I know that in order to hit my objectives, my dreams, my ambitions, that I need to consistently create these habits, right, that lead me into having more time to work on my passion project, to spend with people.
And this show is a lot about being healthy, right? But time, it's your most valuable asset. So I don't know if we'll ever do a show that gets you back more of your time than this. Also, Jake, you said a few things, being disciplined, right? Being disciplined is doing the things that you need to do, even when you don't feel like it. We all know what we need to do, but we don't feel like it. We might use time as an excuse. So this is a very exciting show. And you talked about meditation. I'm a big meditator as well. So I'm going to do something really cool. I'm going to make sure all of you get a really good guide to meditating for kind of a business person. I've been through all these different meditation books, and I finally found one thing that really resonated well with me. Not the topic of this show, but I'm going to make sure that we put it in the show notes. With that being said, what makes Exactly How very different is as you're listening to this while you're driving your car or on YouTube or whatever you're doing, you don't have to worry about taking notes. you can just visit exactlyhow.com, look up this show episode, and you get a complete detailed action plan. All of the notes, all of the resources, all of the free gifts, everything you need can be found at exactlyhow.com. In addition, when you visit that website, you can throw your name in the hat to win a $3,000 software that finds you access to deeply discounted properties that no one else can find. If you're watching this show live, you can visit exactlyhow.com right now, throw your name in the hat, and still be one of the people that are going to win it during this show. So a little later on, I'm going to announce the winner. So exactlyhow.com is where you're going to find everything you need. Jake, for those of us on the line here that are new or haven't really heard of fasting, can you just define this type of fasting for everyone?
Absolutely. So the goal of intermittent fasting or any type of fasting is for your body to enter the state of what we call ketosis, right? So to give you guys a little example or a little analogy to understand what ketosis is and how fasting allows you to get in there, let's use an example of a sponge, right? When we eat food normally, our body's going to create glucose, right? And glucose is a lower level energy source for our brains, for our bodies, correct, than what we call ketones, which are our internal fat stores, right? These internal fat stores are what are ultra nutritious for our brains and for our bodies, right? Usually we hear about people breaking into ketosis in marathons and what people call the wall, right? The wall is when you're running and your body's making that transition from glucose to ketones, right? And that usually comes with things like nausea, sometimes dizziness. It could, also make you feel really hungry, right? You could feel a little tired, a little lethargic. That is that wall. And so the analogy of the sponge in intermittent fasting is as so. If you take a sponge that has no water on it, a completely dry sponge, right? And you run water over it, what's that sponge going to do? It's going to absorb all that water, right? But if that sponge is already soaked and then you run more water over it, what's going to happen? The water's just going to continue to run off, right? So our bodies are very similar. The theory behind intermittent fasting is we want to dry our bodies out, right? We want to let all of our bodies digest all of the nutrients from the day before, the night before, right? All the way, straight, getting them all out of there. And then we pause. We stop eating for a certain amount of time that allows our bodies to kind of regenerate and reset. And so when we refuel it with nutrient-dense food, our bodies can now absorb all of those nutrients, right? And that's a key factor, right? We say nutrient-dense food, replenishing your body with nutrient-dense food, super important, right? Because if you're replenishing your body with bad food, then you're just putting bad things into your body, and it's going to absorb more of those bad things. So yeah, that's the theory, right? Making sure that our bodies aren't operating in a state of glucose, right? Glucosis, we can call it, but instead breaking into the ketones, ketosis, where again, we have all these energy stores and our brain works better for that. And our body operates more efficiently when we're operating off of that.
That's a really good analogy. And digestion is so important to living long, to being healthy. And every day, as you do this, when you fast, your whole body gets completely cleaned out. Without that, you're just piling crap on top of crap on top of crap, and you never really get a full cleanse. So there's a lot of health benefits that we're going to talk about. There's a lot of business benefits as far as focus goes we're going to talk about. And to be honest, I am going to be able to provide some good value here as well, because I have been fasting like this for almost a year now. And what I found is it turns my body into like a Tesla, right? I wake up in the morning and I go. I come home, I put my daughter to bed, and then I eat. And I didn't have to stop for breakfast. I didn't have to stop for lunch. I'm able to find those extra hours throughout the day. And this became really important to me once I had my daughter, because I couldn't work less. I love working. I love doing episodes like this. I love everything I do, but I love my daughter so much as well. So where could I find this time? And then Jake and I were talking, and he just kept telling me, man, not only are you going to have more time, you're going to be more efficient in your time. And then I met someone else who was a big mentor of mine, and he had been doing it for a while. And I'm like, all right, I got to try this out. So for the last 8 months, almost a year now, I've been doing it, and it's been a phenomenal life change for me, which is why I wanted to bring Jake on, the person who introduced it to me and I still learn from, to bring this to you, because I know you need more time. So you understand what it is now. This is exactly how. So let's go over kind of the steps to really understand this. So high level, what would you say, the main things you have to understand or the steps you have to do to be able to implement this in your life?
Yep. I would say, first off, to understand what the true benefits of intermittent fasting are, right? First off, understanding that the benefits that you're going to get from intermittent fasting are not going to be direct. You're not going to start fasting on day one and all of a sudden feel, increased focused or increased energy. Just like we talked about before, it's going to take consistency and time, right? A little bit of patience, because your body needs to get used to how it's now processing this food, right? To now eating once a day or twice a day, depending on your caloric intake, right?
So understanding the health benefits, number one, and that's also going to help you push through those first few weeks.
Absolutely.
So number two.
Yeah. So number two, in getting started, I would recommend a overnight fast, right? The reason being is because you're not going to be as awake. You're not going to feel.
Well, let's get into that. Let's get that in a second. So health benefits, and then we were talking about business benefits, right?
Yes, absolutely. So the benefits on it from a business standpoint, we just talked about increased productivity, increased focus, increased energy, everything that'll keep you laser focused to get your work done. So you can get more done in the same amount of time, right? But also, there's a theory called decision fatigue, right? And you just talked about it.
Yeah, let's jump into that in just a second. The third step is getting started. So we're going to go over the health benefits in detail, because I want you to leave here with a plan. The business benefits, so you understand how this affects your mind and your wallet. And then getting started, we're going to make sure you have a full plan here. And Jake has generously agreed to kind of give you a resource to help get you through all this. And it's going to be found at exactly how. So now that we kind of understand the framework of this call, let's dive into the health benefits. Get me excited. Tell me how I'm going to live longer and why I'm going to look better and age slower by fasting.
Absolutely. So currently the science behind fasting is that when you start fasting, right, your body is going, okay, it's not getting an overload of food, right? That's what happens when you start putting glucose in. You're giving your body exactly what you need, right, in order to function. Super high nutrient dense foods, right? And so what happens is your cells actually start operating more efficiently, okay? Your body has more energy from the ketones, which are the fat stores in your body, right? Which again, aid in the energy and in the ability to think faster, longer term, but also your body starts compacting your cells even tighter, right? Your cells start degrading over the course of time. Your cells start degrading less as you start intermittent fasting, right? Because again, your body goes into a state of, I need all the nutrients I can get. I got to start operating more efficiently, right? Because you're no longer taking that sponge and pouring more water on it. You're starting to squeeze it out, right? Squeeze it out. So your body's operating at a much more efficient manner with everything that's inside of it, right? And part of that, again, is making sure that you're replenishing all the nutrients daily with even more nutrients. So again, your cells start compacting faster.
Okay.
Right? You're operating off ketones, so your brain is much happier, which then results in the business benefits, right?
Hold on, health benefits. We're going to get there in a second, but I've seen things to where you live longer. Now, what's really cool about Jake is a long time ago, he said, I'm going to live till I'm 130. Who here has a goal on how long they're going to live? I didn't have a goal until I heard Jake with a goal. I'm like, well, I'm going to live to 131. No, but it's cool how, Jake, you said, hey, I want to live to 130. You did a lot of research. You figured out all of these benefits, these things that could get you there. But why do you think fasting leads to a longer life? Have you ever read any studies or anything that kind of shows that? And just kind of give people a 1, 2, 3 so they can kind of understand that.
Yeah, well, when it comes to any diet specifically, I think that there's no one size fits all mold, right? For me specifically, intermittent fasting really the way it makes me feel and the way it makes my body feel is is beneficial. It's much better than when I was eating, 6 meals a day or 3 meals a day. So for me personally, that's why I do it. But from a science or study standpoint, again, when we are intermittent fasting, our bodies go, okay, we need to start maintaining and keeping all of the nutrients we get on a daily basis and doing more with it, right? Just like we are trying to do more with our time on a daily basis, your body does the same thing with nutrients internally, right? And so there's been studies like, for example, one of the big things right now in the intermittent fasting world is a lot of cancer patients, right, have started intermittent fasting in order to deliver nutrients more effectively to the rest of their body, right? To utilize medicine, when you're utilizing medicine, your body's going to take that and more efficiently deliver it to the places it needs to go. So when we talk about living longer, it's about really operating more efficiently, right? And having our bodies do the right things as we age, right? As we get older, our bodies start breaking down. And so we got to make sure that we're keeping everything tight, right? Yeah. Everything compact and be operating efficiently in order to get that longevity of life, that longevity of energy.
I remember the study that got me. I saw a study in mice, and mice that were fasting lived 30+% longer than the mice that weren't. 30% is really a whole lot, which means you age slower. I remember reading something, maybe you can kind of dive in here, where every time you eat, these certain nutrients that kick in also kind of age you. Is that?
That's true. Yep. So there's certain type of nutrients, and as your body has to figure out what to do with all this extra, right? With all this extra nutrients, all this extra food, all this extra fats, your body starts breaking down. It's actually energy, right? That goes into your body understanding what to do with these elements, and then actually taking those elements, if they're wasted, and disposing of them, right? Which was what causes that cell breakdown.
To me, it was kind of like a starter in the car. Like every time you eat, the starter goes on. So all these different things have to kick in, and you only get so many starts. So, I used to eat a lot of small meals because I thought that was good. My body would have time to digest it, and that's just what I read. But this has been the easiest thing I've ever had to do, because you want to eat healthy, right? But it's just easy to say, all right, I only eat between this time and this time. It stopped me from eating all this junk food throughout the day where I just pick on stuff. Someone brings in donuts, I'm not eating them. It's just because I don't eat at that time. So it solves so many problems all at once. It's been fantastic for me. And actually, you guys might not know this, but Jake is actually 72 years old. And look how good that guy looks. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. All right. So health benefits convinced me 30% that I need to do this, right? But then the business benefits pushed me over the line. So let's talk about some of the business benefits, and let's maybe start off with that quote you would always say: your body can only send blood to your belly or your brain. Was that the quote?
Yeah. So it's actually your stomach makes more decisions than your brain does, right? Our bodies are so much more influenced by the food that we digest than we actually think. And before we go into that makes a great point. Making the decision on what to put into our bodies, right? We're talking about nutrients-dense foods, but every decision we make, right, like we just talked about before, the theory of decision fatigue. As we first wake up in the morning, right, people believe that the ability for your brain to make good decisions, informed decisions, degrades as you make more decisions throughout the day, right? You were just talking about how, in the morning, you want to see your daughter, right, at the end of the day, every day. But in the morning, you got to think about breakfast. And at lunch, you got to think about lunch. Well, you got to think about, it's not just what am I going to eat? It's who am I going with? Where am I going to go? How am I going to store it? Where am I going to take it? And all of a sudden, by the time you're at lunch, you've made 100 decisions on what food is going into your body, right? Which then fatigues your brain. You're no longer at the end of the day to make the important decisions when you had to use your brain power, your mental bandwidth to make all these, non-important decisions. So before we even get into the actual business benefits and the time-saving benefits of this, just understanding that by simply cutting down to 1 meal a day or 2 meals a day, you're instantly making, 50 to 250 less decisions on what to eat, where to go, how to get there, how much it's going to cost, if you can afford it, right? Let alone cooking and all that other stuff. So big benefits right there, right off the bat.
Yeah. Any other specific business benefits that you've seen or want to touch on?
Absolutely, absolutely. So the real reason why I personally intermittent fast, I've been at it for about 3.5 years. I do an
Wow.
18-hour fast every day, consistently, very rarely break that, is because of the ultra HD focus I get when I start getting into my groove, right? I know daily, usually around 2 o'clock to 3:30 p.m., where my body hits that wall and then breaks into ketosis, which gives me a full second wind of energy and the ability to truly focus and hone in on the things that I need to get done, so I can get more done in my 24 hours that are allotted to me.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen the benefits as well. It's you get up, you go, you crush all day, you get home, you eat. Throughout the day, you drink a lot of water. Right?
Ton of water.
Because
Ton of water.
You want to be drinking water. We're going to talk about getting started here, but as far as the business benefits, one of my favorite things that this does is it's kind of a mental exercise for your willpower. Every day you are making a decision that you're not going to eat until I don't eat until 6:30. So around 4, when there's the opportunity for let me get something before I get home. It's just an exercise in willpower. It's saying I'm going to do it and following through. Say it, do it. Say it, do it. Say it, do it every day. So it's your mind starts to understand that, hey, listen, if Ross says he's going to do it, he's going to do it. And your stomach has a lot of control over you. Jake said your stomach is a second brain. And I've actually read studies on that. It has more connections than your brain actually does through the bacteria. Your stomach has a huge amount of power over you. That's why people say I have a gut feeling about it. That's your thinking, right? All that bacteria there. So to be able to get control over your stomach and your brain at the same time starts to really put you in the driver's seat. And Jake, someone like yourself who also meditates, that's probably why you've seen such huge acceleration in your life, because you're focused, you know what you want to do, you have the ability to do it, you work out your willpower. Even when you don't feel like doing it, you still do it, but you're making good lifelong decisions. You want to have a great tomorrow? Do your best today, right? All you got to do is do your best today. So hopefully everyone on the line here is at least going to kind of look into this and say, wow, this could be fantastic. Let's talk about getting started and some of the pitfalls, Jake.
Absolutely. So getting started, I would say my first recommendation is someone that says, hey, intermittent fasting may be for me. I definitely want to give it a try. The first warning label that I'm going to put on this is you're not going to see the benefits in a week, maybe not even 2 weeks, right? And we talked about it at first. That energy boost, that mental focus really comes in around between week 3 and week 6. And so just like anything, this is going to be an investment into you, an investment into your body that will pay off over time. Right? So how would I suggest that someone get started? I'd say that, a overnight fast for people that have never fasted before would probably be the best bet. And so what that means, Ross, would be that at around 8 p.m., you would stop eating, right? You could still drink black coffee if you like, if that's something you do at night, or just regular water, right? But no sugar, no additives, no snacks, nothing. Truly being clean.
Tea as well, a green tea.
Yep, tea is allowed. Just no sugar.
No,
right?
none of the fruity tea. You get a green tea.
Yep.
Right.
All natural. Yep. All natural. And I would stop eating at 8 p.m. and I would do a 12-hour fast to the next day at 8 a.m. And I would try to keep that fast going for about a week, and then incrementally increase the amount of time. Right. Go from 8 a.m. till 10 a.m. and then from 10 a.m. till 12. So you're increasing your fast from 12 hours to 14. From 14 to 16, and then eventually from 16 to 18, which is what most advanced intermittent fasters do.
It's actually called the warrior fast. I think 20 plus hours, because I eat for about 3 hours a day. So it's 21 hours of fasting. Mm-hmm. is pretty extreme. Now that I will say this, the 3 meals a day, that's not how the body was designed. That's something that kind of just came to be somehow, through the ages. You don't have to eat like that. And when you first get into this, you're hungry, but you're not, I don't know, it might sound weird having never done it before, but you're not really hungry. You're in a rhythm. So the first 2 weeks, you just have to break that rhythm. And the first 2 weeks are not necessarily easy. I went right to essentially the warrior fast almost. So I wouldn't recommend it, but I'm like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it all the way. But what Jake explained, kind of pushing it out over a few week period of time is a fantastic way to kind of get started. And most people think that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. I think that was started by, I don't know, the farmers selling eggs.
Big cereal companies, probably.
Cereal companies, yeah. So, all right, getting started, Jake, you've kind of given a good plan to introduce fasting to your body. What's next?
I do also want to give you guys some more information about the things that you should be putting into your body, right? Because intermittent fasting is not going to work if you're replenishing all your lost nutrients, right, with bad nutrients. Just like anything we just talked about, you have a dry sponge right now, right? You fasted for 12 hours, 14 hours, 16 or 18. Your sponge is dry. Replenishing that with McDonald's or nutrient poor foods will have the alternative effect of true intermittent fasting. You'll feel more lethargic, more tired, because your body won't be getting all the nutrients it needs. So it's so important that your first meal after your fast is super nutrient dense, right? As well as that you're staying hydrated throughout the day. Without food in your stomach, you don't absorb and maintain as high of a water level, right, throughout the day. So it's important to continuously refuel. Ross, I know you drink a ton of water. You see me going through, 3 or 4 of these a day. I go try to drink at least 2 to 3 liters a day of water, and that's all in order to stay healthy, right? It's all in order to provide my body with what it needs to get through the day on my fast successfully.
Yeah. So, my big takeaway from that and what I do is typically I'll work out right before I eat, right? Just to kind of break through a little bit. But the first thing I eat, I want it to be the healthiest. I want it to be all the light vegetables, because the second you eat that, your body's going to sponge that up and you're going to get the most out of that. You're going to get the most bang for your buck right there. And then I'll layer on top, because this is not a license to eat a lot, and it's also not a license to not eat enough. You need to make sure that you're getting your proper calories. But just if you don't take away one other thing from this little segment here, make sure that you eat the best foods first, because you're going to get a lot out of that. So actually, Jake, before we get into the next step, I have to announce the winner of the software, because now people have all this extra time. They can start prospecting motivated sellers so they can have financial freedom. So before we get into the next step, I want to announce the winner of the pre-MLS software. Is a $3,000 value. This individual went to exactlyhow.com and threw their name in the hat. Maybe they were doing it during a live broadcast right here. And her name is Libby Sisson. Congratulations. On access. We'll be reaching out to you, getting you all set up, and you'll have access to exactly what you need to succeed as a real estate investor. Congratulations, Libby. We look forward to hearing about your success. Okay, great. So getting started, we talked about a handful of things. What are the next steps in getting started?
So after you get your 18-hour fast, right, after you've achieved what we've believed in the warrior fast, it's really about maintaining that, right, and pushing your body beyond the limits, the self-imposed limits, right, and the self-imposed rules that we've given it. You talked about, breakfast is the most important meal of the day, 3 meals a day, right? I mean, that could be true for some people, and for others it's not. A lot of these rules and regulations have been self-imposed by us, right? At first, when people go through a fast, especially if you're doing a during the day fast, right, a daytime fast, what ends up happening is no matter what, if you used to eat lunch every day at noon for 6 years, your mind is conditioned, right? Your stomach is conditioned. It's going to tell you you're hungry, but you want to eat, right? You want to eat. You don't need to eat. And this has been proven multiple times. Personally, the longest fast I've done is 72 hours.
You did a 3-day
fast. Yep, 3-day fast. But I have friends and buddies of mine who've been intermittent fasting much longer, who've done 5 and 7-day fasts. And they are very athletic, super in shape. They are not, what people would think, like super skinny. No, they're very muscular. They're big people. And they've successfully done it. So I definitely know it's possible. We just got to really reach beyond our comfort zone, right? And move beyond these self-imposed rules that we've put on ourselves.
Gotcha. So and anything else in getting started?
Be sure to drink a lot of water. And you mentioned something real quick before about making sure that you're getting enough food, right? It's very important if you're only going to be eating 1 meal a day or 2 meals a day, that not only are those meals nutrient dense like we've been talking about, but that you guys get the right amount of calories in order to fuel your body. Just because I eat one meal a day doesn't mean I'm only eating 700 calories or 1,000 calories. That would be unhealthy. In fact, my caloric intake a day is usually anywhere between 1,800 calories and 2,400 calories. And I get that done, as you know, Ross, in one huge meal, right? Yeah. And that's because I personally love the feeling of being really full, right? I love that. I chase that feeling. It's crazy. But I like eating one big meal, getting all my calories in at one time, and then letting my body digest over the next 18 to 22 hours all that nutrient-dense food that I just put into it.
Yeah, your body's like, all right, everyone, food's coming down. Come on. All right, let's do this. And they put all the food in the right spot. Hey, we don't know when the next time we're going to eat is. Make sure we use all this food to the best of its ability. So it's been, it's been phenomenal, Jake, to kind of watch you do this every single day without fail. Actually, I had to, Jake working here at Connected Investors, I just say, Jake, leave the people alone. Like, Ross, I have a goal. I want everyone fasting. Think how much more productive the company would be. And he's actually, it's a joke, but he's right. If everyone fasted like this, we could crush all day. We'll have a bag of bagels come in around 11 sometimes, and Jake's like, all right, there's gonna be nothing getting done here for the next hour.
Go home. Everyone go home. I mean, we talk about time saving. Let's talk about the time it takes, right? It takes, an hour to prepare breakfast, 30 minutes to eat it. It takes an hour to eat and get lunch, right? And then you come back, and for the first hour and a half, all your energy, all that mental energy that you could be using in your brain for what you're doing is now your body's now using to digest in your stomach, right? And so that's where, people become lethargic, right? That's where people are always like, oh, I need a nap. But if you start intermittent fasting, you're saving time, right? You're starting taking back and owning your day.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we are both huge advocates of it. And let's talk about breaking fast, because as someone in business, sometimes it's a little challenging when you want to have a lunch meeting or a dinner meeting with someone. And it's also tough to explain it to people. And you don't want to be that, that person all the time. So, me personally, the first thing I wanted to do is make sure it was a habit. So when I first started fasting, I didn't break it no matter what. It didn't matter if my mom made me my favorite meal. It didn't matter if I was at an important business meeting. I was not breaking it because it had to become a habit. Now where I'm at, because I've been doing it for so long, if there's a chance to eat and I need to be part of a social setting and it would be awkward for me not to eat, or I don't feel like explaining it, I'll use that as an excuse to eat, and I kind of just readjust a little bit there. So there's a bit of a social balance that you need to have when it's summertime. You're out at a barbecue, everyone's eating all your favorite stuff, and you're like, no, I'm good. So I would really suggest making it a habit first, to where when you do it, you're like, oh man, like now when I have to eat, I'm kind of bummed, right? I'm like enjoying it, but I'm like, I missed my opportunity to fast today. Jake, I mean, how would you recommend people, go about it?
So as you know, Ross, I'm very strict, right, on my fasting, because I know, like you just said, I know what's going to happen the moment after I take a bite. And a lot of the times I will augment the time that I eat, right? Like I said, I usually do an 18 to 22 hour fast. I never eat below a 12-hour fast, because I just know what's going to happen. The moment I put that food in my mouth, I instantly become more lethargic. And I'm not going to be able to get as much out of my day that day, right, moving forward. But I do. Just like you, I attend a lot of business meetings, right? I go out all the time, right? You got to be social. But again, I at least try to limit when those meetings are. And then if I do go there, I try to eat a little bit of, again, super nutrient-dense food. So instead of ordering a big burger and 3 beers, I might get a water and, some type of salad, or, just a strict, a chicken breast, something very simple, right? That allows my body,
or something like that.
Yes, allows to get my body to refill and go, right? Something that is easily digestible. Maybe I'll be lethargic for an hour, but then I'm back on my powerhouse of fasting.
Yeah. Well, Jake, thank you so very much for explaining exactly how to kind of do everything better, how to have more time, how to be healthier, how to live a longer life. And it's so important. That's why we cover things like this on the Exactly How podcast. If you listen to the opening, it's about your wealth, health, and happiness. Because if you have a lot of money, it doesn't matter if you're not living a good life. I don't know if this would offend people, but back in the day, I read a lot of stuff by Timothy Ferriss when he first came out with the 4-Hour Work Week. And he said, I don't want to be the fat, unhealthy person in the BMW. Right. And that just kind of stuck with me, because you are all the decisions. Everything between you and a healthier life is right here, is making the decisions, is sticking with it. And if you're happy with where you are, fantastic. But what happens is over time, the health problems start kicking in. And so also fasting helps me not get sick. So I'm not getting sick. I'm not going to have the same problems. I'm lowering my risk of cancer, just because of these things. So it solves so many problems, and you're not really doing anything extra. You're just not doing something. So it's not always about, I need to do this, I need to do this. It's like, no, I need to not do these things. Then I won't get sick. When I get older, my medical bills won't be crazy. I'll have more time, more energy, more memories with my family and friends, be more successful as a business individual. So this is a really great hack here. And I mean, Jake, outside of this, you have a black belt as well. So you grew up around some pretty disciplined people.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm a 4-stripe Gracie brown belt under Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. All the Gracie brothers have signed my belts. I take it very seriously. 9 years, it was 4 to 6 days a week training, 8 to 12-hour sessions each. And a lot of the Gracie lifestyle, which is outlined in a lot of these different manuals, incorporates intermittent fasting as a source of self-control. And just by the way, Ross, I want to add one other benefit you talked, as we talk about life benefits. But for people just like you who are fathers, right, or mothers who have children, instituting this in your life and showing them that you are investing into into augmenting your habits, right? It reflects on them. We talk a lot about how people watch other people do things and learn from that, right? Yeah. Well, if you can't control yourself, right, from a basic standpoint, from things that we need, right? We need food, water, shelter. Well, if you can't control yourself on one of those 3 things, right, that's going to bleed down into the people you hang around, right? Because they're going to have a different mindset than you. It's going to go down into your children, and they're going to see your unhealthy habits, and they're going to pick it up, right? So again, having this as looking at intermittent fasting as a mental challenge, right? In the realm of self-control and discipline is so important, right? Yeah. Beyond just, is intermittent fasting going to work for me? Well, maybe it won't work for you, but the things it stands for and the exercise and routine is going to put you through, right? Even if you do it a couple times a month or you make it into a consistent habit, is going to reflect in almost every avenue of your life.
Yeah, absolutely. As a matter of fact, yesterday I was at a dentist, and they were looking at my teeth. They're like, wow, they keep getting better and better. And I haven't really done anything different, except now I only eat once a day. So it's just another random fact. Like, food's not sitting in my teeth. I don't have to brush my teeth 10 times a day. Food's not sitting in my teeth all day. Just all these weird little benefits that I'm seeing all across my whole life. And that's, again, why I wanted to bring you on the line here. And at exactlyhow.com, we'll give you an outline here. I'll make sure to include the awesome guide on meditation that completely blew my mind. We'll give you all the tips for this show and future shows. We have more shows. You can take a look at the shows we've done in the past about real estate investing, wholesaling, subject to investing. We have one coming up on how to build skyscrapers. So we are tapping into some fantastic individuals that are going to show you exactly how to increase your wealth, health, and happiness. Jake, are you ready for the rapid fire section before I let you go?
Go. Born ready.
On a scale from 1 to 10, how strict were your parents?
I'd have to say straight 5. Snapped a little.
You get up early or stay up late?
Super early. Get up early.
How many hours of sleep do you get?
8.
Favorite or last book that you read?
Ooh, Tools of Titans by Tim Ferriss. Amazing.
If you could be any superhero, who would it be?
There's someone in the X-Men. I answer this question the same. There's someone in the X-Men that she can take other people's superpowers. That's who I would be. Why settle for one? Why settle for one?
There you go. Something everyone should do less of.
Eat.
Something everyone should do more of.
Fast.
Right. Will people live on Mars in your lifetime?
Well, because I'm gonna live to about 150 because of intermittent fasting. I'm not sure it's possible.
All right, Jake. Hey, thank you so very much. And to everyone who's on here, you made it to the end of the show. Most people don't finish what they start. That's phenomenal. So if you get any value in this show or any of the other shows that we've done, please share it. Give us a thumbs up, like it, tag someone, take this YouTube video, embed it on your website. We spend a lot of time, energy, and money to share this information with you. I became financially free in my early 20s through investing in real estate, and I've been on a crazy mission to help as many people who have a willingness to learn and will roll up their sleeves and do it. And I've been doing a phenomenal job over this past decade, but I need to get the message out to more people. So please share, like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I'll see you on the next Exactly How.
The Connected Investors app connects you with investors, notifies you of available properties, helps locate cash buyers, and secure private funding to close deals. Set up in seconds to become a member of the Connected Investors social network. Now you can scroll through your main feed to find cash buyers, see investment properties not available to the general public, and network with investors by adding your own comments to a thread to keep the conversation going. The Control Center is your connection to add properties to sell, start new discussions, connect with local investors, and even find private funding. The Notifications tab will keep you alerted to new investment properties and offers. You'll also find new friend requests to connect directly with the community to build your network. From the property marketplace, you'll be able to find, favorite, and make offers on investment properties. Download Connected Investors today to find, figure, fund, and flip investment properties on the go.